Have you ever wondered about the mysteries that lie beneath the waters of Loch Ness? Nestled in the Scottish Highlands, Loch Ness is not just your ordinary lake. Spanning 23 miles in length and almost a mile in width, this body of water holds more fresh water than all the lakes in England and Wales combined. But its extraordinary depth and size are not what makes it famous. Rather, it's the tales that have been passed down through the generations, whispering of a creature lurking in its depths. A creature known as Nessie, the Loch Ness monster. This elusive beast, shrouded in myth and legend, has intrigued explorers, scientists, and curious minds alike for centuries. Its existence, real or imagined, has stirred debates and sparked countless expeditions. The story of the Loch Ness monster is not a recent one. It dates back centuries, to a time when monsters and mythical creatures were a part of everyday life. The first recorded sighting of the Loch Ness monster dates back to the 6th century. This initial sighting is steeped in the annals of history and religious lore, attributed to none other than St. Columba in 565 AD. St. Columba, a revered Irish Christian missionary, was said to have encountered the beast while on a visit to the Pictish kingdoms. This encounter was not documented until a century later in the Life of St. Columba by Adomnan, an abbot of Iona. According to Adomnan's account, St. Columba came across some locals burying a man near the River Ness. The man had been reportedly killed by a water beast. Undeterred by the beast's fearsome reputation, St. Columba instructed one of his followers to swim across the river. As the beast approached the swimmer, St. Columba made the sign of the cross and commanded, "Go no further. Do not touch the man. Go back at once." To everyone's astonishment, the beast halted as if pulled back with ropes and retreated. Over the subsequent centuries, there were sporadic reports of a strange creature residing in the depths of Loch Ness. However, these accounts were often dismissed as mere folklore, tales spun by imaginative locals and weary travelers. The elusive creature of Loch Ness continued to remain a mystery, occasionally surfacing in stories, but largely forgotten in the grand scheme of history. It wasn't until we moved into the 20th century that the legend of the Loch Ness monster began to capture the public's imagination in a significant way. The advent of photography and film gave rise to a new wave of purported sightings, transforming Nessie from a regional myth into a global phenomenon. The Loch Ness monster, once a footnote in a religious text, was now a household name, sparking intrigue and debate that continues to this day. It was in the 20th century that the legend of Nessie truly came to life. In 1933, a local newspaper published an account that would catapult the Loch Ness monster into international fame. This account, featured in the Inverness Courier, narrated an unusual occurrence. A couple claimed to have seen an enormous animal rolling and plunging on the surface of Loch Ness. This report would forever change the public perception of this quiet Scottish loch. The narrative was intriguing, but it was the photograph taken a year later that truly captured the world's imagination. Dubbed the surgeon's photograph, this infamous image, taken by Robert Wilson, a London gynecologist, appeared to show a creature with a long neck and a small head, a creature that bore a striking resemblance to prehistoric dinosaurs. This photograph, despite later being revealed as a hoax, served to fan the flames of the Loch Ness monster legend. Following the publication of the surgeon's photograph, interest in the Loch Ness monster began to surge. It was no longer a local myth, it was now a global phenomenon. People from all walks of life, amateur enthusiasts to professional scientists, flocked to the loch, hoping to catch a glimpse of Nessie herself. As the years rolled on, so did the attempts to substantiate the existence of the Loch Ness monster. Numerous expeditions were launched, each more ambitious than the last. Sonar scans were employed, underwater cameras were utilized, and even submarines were brought in, all in an effort to prove the existence of this elusive creature. Each expedition brought with it a renewed sense of hope, a renewed sense of excitement. Yet, despite the technological advancements and the countless man-hours dedicated to these hunts, definitive proof remained elusive. And so, the Loch Ness monster, the creature that had captured the hearts and minds of people worldwide, remained just out of reach. Despite numerous attempts and investigations, the existence of Nessie remained shrouded in mystery. The Loch Ness monster continues to captivate the imagination of people around the world, even today. This enigmatic creature, affectionately known as Nessie, has been the crux of an ongoing debate that stretches across decades and continents. On one hand, we have the scientific community, a bastion of logic and empirical evidence. Their skepticism towards Nessie's existence is hardly surprising. They argue that the lack of concrete evidence, not a single bone or a strand of DNA, makes it difficult to substantiate the existence of this prehistoric beast. Various theories have been put forward by scientists to explain the numerous sightings. Some suggest that what people are seeing are not sea monsters, but rather misidentifications of common animals. Could it be that a playful otter, an ambling deer, or even a bird swooping low over the water's surface is the true face of Nessie? Optical illusions caused by unusual wave patterns, floating debris, or even boat wakes have also been proposed as explanations. In the gloaming light of the Scottish Highlands, it's not hard to imagine how one might mistake these for a monster. Yet, despite the skepticism and theories, sightings persist. Every year, people from all walks of life, locals and tourists alike, claim to have seen something unusual in the loch. This continued interest has fostered a bustling tourism industry around the legend of Nessie, with souvenirs, tours, and even a dedicated museum. So what do we make of this ongoing debate? The scientific community demands evidence, the sightings continue unabated, and the legend of Nessie thrives, fueling a thriving tourism industry. So does the Loch Ness monster truly exist, or is it simply a product of folklore and misidentification? The answer, my friends, remains as elusive as Nessie herself.